Welcome everyone to episode number 11 of the Bunker Talk. I have my good friend here, Michelle Hernandez. She is a commercial real estate agent with Related ISG. Thank you so much for spending your Friday morning with me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the people everything about yourself, actually. Tell us, what you do, why you do it, why real estate. Let's just get right into it.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Miami. I love the city. Love being
Same.
here.
Yeah.
Probably not leaving.
Never. Me either.
So I come from a background in marketing and sales, and I was in medical sales prior to real estate.
Okay.
And I was already really focused on purchasing property.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead and, left that company and started to just dive head in. And I got my license to really learn the ins and outs of it. I was already studying property and what would make a good investment. And instead of doing sales for another company, I decided to do sales for myself.
Good. Yeah.
So I started my own business, and here I am. I've been doing real estate now for 2.5 years, and, just moving along, learning to love the process.
Yeah.
And it's
tough.
It's a challenge to learn,
Yeah.
love the process of commercial real estate. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster ride, and you really can't focus on the payout, because there's just no guarantee anything's going to close.
Right. So why commercial over residential real estate?
Because the assets that I'm interested in purchasing are commercial.
So it's even more almost a passion project of your own. So you might as well do it. I like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
It was what I was interested in. I see the value in multifamily income producing properties. And, not that residential can't be, and many people have been successful with that. And congratulations. Sure. It's amazing. I've always been go big.
Yeah, I like that.
Commercial is big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like that. And I like the approach too of, which is kind of in life, right? It's not just don't attach yourself to the outcome, but enjoy the struggle of the process. Yeah. Right. Which real estate in general, I've never done it, but I know, doing insurance that they're complicated transactions, and it's not for the faint of heart, for sure.
It's not.
And the thing is that, like, for example, in your medical sales, it's you and the person buying and maybe the product you're selling. Okay. There's 3 variables, but in real estate, there's so many people with their hands in the pot. Like, you could do everything right. And because the title company or the inspector or the insurance, anything could just kill the deal right from under you.
I mean, it's rarely me.
Right. I like that. Yeah.
It's, you put the effort in and you connect all the dots, and some things work out and some things don't. And I mean, real estate is like life in a lot of ways, and like many industries, honestly, and businesses, and being an entrepreneur. I mean, they all have so much in common. You really got to enjoy the process and not like, oh, enjoy the journey. Like, yeah, that's part, like it is connected, but it's not the same. It's the roller coaster. Right. Like, you got to appreciate parts of it, because even when you get to the end, like, you still got to do it again.
Right.
So if you don't like the process, then what are you doing it for?
Right.
Like that paycheck's not going to be enough.
Right.
Like, it's just not.
Yeah. I've actually never heard any realtor on either side speak about this. And it's very true. You're starting over every single transaction.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same in sales and in business. I mean, it's not about getting the accolade or getting that certificate or, oh, I closed my biggest deal ever. Like, those are amazing things. But as soon as you finish that, as soon as you get that check, like, yeah, you can enjoy rest for a little bit because you pushed so hard for that. But you got to do it all over again if you're not already doing the next one. And that's the biggest thing about real estate too, is like just setting up that pipeline all the time, because when that deal falls, if you were putting all of your energy in only to one deal and it falls apart, it's devastating.
So I was going to say, while I agree with you, right, it applies to all areas of sales. In your area, it applies even more though, because of that reason, right? You, at least in our area of business, we have residual income.
Yeah.
So I get to walk into every year, short average, you lose 20% a year. Okay. Well, I get to walk into 2024 with an average of knowing at least 80% what I'm going to make, right? Not including increases or people expanding their businesses, things like that. It's not the same in your space.
This is 100% commission. If something doesn't close, I don't have anything.
Right. Talk about that though. That is scary. First of all, it's scary, and I commend you. You know, and
is that sigh too loud?
No, no, it's real. It's real. I like that. Because real estate is perceived as glamorous.
I know we do a good job at the content. I think.
Yeah, it's glamorous. For the most
part,
but it is more struggle until you make it, but not even make it. Like,
no, because even when you make it, you got to keep going. I mean, I work with extremely successful agents and brokers, and they don't stop.
No, it doesn't.
They don't stop. The more success you have, the more people you know, the more people want to work with you. The more. It keeps going, and I think that's, they're successful like that because they've learned to actually like the process. Like they actually enjoy starting over with a new person and doing everything over and over again. So it's a choice, and you actually have to make a conscious choice to say, okay, I know this isn't going to be easy.
It's not overnight. Especially in commercial, because the sale, the transaction is a little longer, right, than residential?
It can be longer. It depends if you're buying cash or financing. So there's so many variables, like you mentioned. At the end of the day, it's commercial. There's just a lot more to it.
Yeah.
There is a lot more to it. There's a lot more, focused on the income, the revenue, the future of the asset, the condition of the asset, what's your plan?
Right.
With commercial real estate, there's a plan in mind.
Even
it's not just like, oh, I really want to live in this area. Like, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Even if the building is occupied with a tenant, like what are their operations? Well, I know sometimes on the insurance side, it affects it. So I can imagine on the financing side too, it affects like who is occupying the space, how long is the lease? It's so many different variables.
Is it going to be owner occupied, or is this strictly for an investment and you're looking to make money from having tenants there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to be a landlord.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
It's a good position to be in.
It's great to have other people pay your rent, for sure.
Yeah. And in commercial, it could be set up so well. I mean, you could set up triple net and you don't even have to worry about expenses. Right. Everything falls on the tenant. So why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah. No, that's a whole other animal. It's true. Yeah, that's true. So talk to me about the process then. How do you stay focused? How do you stay motivated? How do you, what do you do when you're feeling defeated?
Take a break.
Okay.
Take like a minute to just reset and just get right back to it. It's, I say it often, I probably say it too much, is little steps.
Well,
just remind myself to take the next step because it could feel daunting. Like you can make the list and you could think of all the things you have to do to get to that other side of achievement. And for what, like you just got to take the next little step, and you'll get there. You'll get there eventually, but we can't, like I've had to teach myself, and through the help of podcasts and visionaries in my life and people that have given me great books and things like that. It's like, you really just have to take your time sometimes and be present. And, when you always keep looking ahead at what you want to achieve and what you want to accumulate, like that's not really where the joy is. It's hard to accept. It's hard to accept because you see the successful person and you see all they have and you're like, I want that. And it's like, I want that, but I just actually want to be happy and I just want to enjoy what I'm doing. And you really end up enjoying it when you're doing something that like matters to you or that impacts someone else. So it's like, how am I helping someone? How am I benefiting someone else sometimes? I mean, I love to do things for myself. I think I have a good amount of selfish habits. And I think it's important for us all to have that, those self-care things you do just for you. But I think that a lot of my joy and a lot of my moments that I really remember are things that I could do for others.
Yeah. I think that it's funny, everyone's definition of success is different, right? And I think it's tied to what you're speaking about. For some, for others it's not. For others it is those material possessions or those achievements, the awards, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the person that has that success tied to helping others lives a way more fulfilled life, right? Yeah. And I think that that's just my opinion, but I feel like that's also the person that is in your position as far as like learning to embrace and love the process of it.
It's necessary. I mean, I think when I started real estate, I was in a different position, mindset, financially, et cetera, where I definitely was more concerned with the achievement, the payout,
right,
things like that. And it took me a little bit of getting frustrated from things falling apart and realizing, okay, is it, what can I do differently?
Right.
You to get to those moments and you're like, okay, time to reflect and
right.
make some changes. And it's, at the end of the day, real estate and like almost a lot of businesses, it's all about the relationships
Mm-hmm.
you make.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't make a strong relationship and you don't enjoy the relationship part, you're going to have a hard time being successful.
Right.
And, with those that's part of like helping people.
Right.
And, or how people help you too, like it's connecting, like you need to actually be able to connect to what it is you're doing, who it is you're helping, who it is you're talking to. So, I mean, I think for me, I went from focusing on getting the sale and closing the deal to, all right, how can I just like listen to the relationships and make
Mm-hmm.
good connections? And that's where like I do a lot of networking and just connecting with people because everyone teaches me something.
Right.
I mean, everyone I meet, I learn something. And if I'm able to connect you to someone else, like that brings me joy.
I was just talking about that with someone last night. Like I am passionate about helping people grow their business.
Yeah.
Like it almost makes me feel better than like closing my own business.
Yeah.
I'm fueled by connecting people and helping other people grow their business. I love it.
Me too. I'm a really big believer in, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yep.
I mean, a huge believer in that. I'm not trying to sink anyone's ship.
Right.
I have no interest.
Right.
Like I don't need that energy in my life.
No, that I agree. We are on the same page. We were just talking about that last night at an event that I was at. So I completely agree. You said something about networking. Tell me about your networking. What do you do? What have you found that works? Any tips for not just new realtors, but anybody new in business, that's maybe thinking about doing what you did, starting a business for themselves, working for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think networking is extremely important as an adult. And I think it's even as a young adult, I think it's extremely formative and helpful. Whether your parents are extremely well connected or not, I think it's important for you yourself to build your own network. Myself personally, my parents have a network, but they don't have a network in the industry that I'm in. So I had to recreate that all on my own. And I think it's really important because you have to show people who you are. You have to, be present for others and connect with your community, connect within the industries and make partnerships and make friendships. I mean, it's important. A big part of my business and of my relationships is being able to find something for someone else. Like if I might not have a connection for you today or a referral for you today, but knowing that if I go down the road or if I'm in a deal and I need insurance or I need something, you come top of mind.
Even as a resource.
As a resource.
We make each other better, even if we never did business, you have a resource that makes you more efficient for your client.
Extremely. I mean, even for your friends. Like you never know how much you need your connections until something's going down.
Right.
Like, oh shoot, like someone's reaching out to me. They're like, man, is there anyone that could help me with this? And it's like, shoot, I really hope I do. And then you got to really think. And And then you got to go through your phone and hope you saved keywords properly with contacts and, and just really think it through. Or, what kind of group chats are you in? What kind of networks are you in that you could send these kinds of requests out and ask for help? Those are extremely important to me. And I've learned so much from being able to do that and like getting comfortable doing that. I think growing up, I wasn't always as comfortable asking for help. And that's something that's important. We all work on ourselves, and I'm doing the work, Good. I'm doing the work. It's not fun, but I'm doing it.
That's enough. You got to fall in love with the process of the work.
Healing ain't easy.
No.
But through being able to learn to ask for help and learn to lean on others and not do it all myself, and even learning to delegate things, realizing I don't need to be a martyr and take everything on my plate. It's not going to make me any better.
It's not. Yep.
It's not going to, no one's going to be like, congrats, you killed yourself. Like,
you haven't slept in 3 days. Yay.
Like, that's not how it works. No. And it's not really what matters, So it's like, how can you balance out? And I think balance is just so important no matter where you put it in your life. Like, just find balance.
It's so funny because when you start, right, you do everything wrong. You're everywhere. Because even with networking, I agree, it's extremely important. And when you start, you go to everything. You go to every happy hour. You do everything. You do it all. And then it's like, you're exhausted. And then even if you get some business, a year of doing that will take 3 off your life. Yeah. It's exhausting. And so it's like, and it's something that all new businesses do, right? You got to pay your bills. You got to be everywhere. You feel like if you're not at that event, that could have been your next $1 million deal, like those things. And then it's like, as you grow through this business and you learn and you get to the key people in your network, which I have several that have been like, listen, I appreciate what you're doing, but this is a better way to do it, right? Be intentional with your networking. Go to these
keyword.
Find who do you want to meet? Why do you want to meet those people? So then it's like, okay, a year and a half of killing yourself going to all these things. Then you're just like, okay, well, wait, actually, this is the type of client that I want to meet. So who do those people network with? Right? It's all of it is just like that. Like you're saying, the whole process of starting the business, the networking piece, there's like silos that people don't talk about, right? Like, oh, you like me. Okay. I know insurance. I've done it for 20 years, but I've never owned my own business. Right. So I'm like, oh, I can do it. I saw my parents do it. I could do it. But it's also a post-COVID world. And when my parents were in business, we didn't have to do all this stuff.
Completely different.
We weren't marketers. We were insurance agents.
Yeah. But now if you're an entrepreneur, you have to do it all. You're so many roles. And there's a book that I read early on, The E-Myth.
Oh, I have it on my list to read.
It's a good one. It's great for an entrepreneur to read because it really tells you how to realize if you're an entrepreneur or self-employed. Which I think a lot of entrepreneurs and people who start their business, and this happens in real estate all the time too, because it's my business. I opened a business license. I'm registered with the DVPR. But I'm self-employed. Right. I'm killing myself. I'm doing 5 jobs. I'm doing the entrepreneur searching. I'm the technician selling the real estate, and I'm managing myself. And now I'm marketing. That book didn't even include marketing. It was written before marketing was part, because it was also written using McDonald's as an example and like how to create basically franchise. Like you literally have to put systems and processes in place, and then you could copy paste it. And then an entrepreneur opens the next location, next location. Like that's ideally what you would want to do if you're going to start a business, right? Like is how to make anything scalable. But when you start a small business, you could barely afford to delegate. Right. So you're doing 4 jobs, and then you have burnout, right? And then you're frustrated, and then you struggle to love the process, right? Because how could you love it? It's so frustrating. So right. It's taking over your life. It's taking over your life. You have no time, and that was a struggle at first. I mean, I'm sure you felt the same when you started. I started November of 2019, and then the world shut down March 2020. So it was a very hard time.
Very hard time.
I got my license during COVID too.
Yeah.
At the
Very
end of
hard.
COVID. But yeah, like in 21
Yep.
or 20. I don't remember.
It's definitely not for the weak. this journey and this process.
No, you picked the roller coaster.
Yeah. I don't even like roller coasters in real life.
But it's better than being in one place, right?
No, absolutely. Look, and I saw my parents do it, right? So I knew that I was capable of it. It's just, it's someone in our space. I went to an insurance conference in January, and this gentleman spoke, and he gave an incredible presentation of, a lot of the conference presentations are very technical as far as like insurance and, products to use and how to make your customer experience. They're all great. But his was a little different. It was more of like more motivational, inspirational. And he discussed that about like, you chose this journey of entrepreneurship and you thought it was going to be easy. Like if it was easy, everybody would do it. Like how big is your bucket, right? We all have a bucket, a giant bucket for all the wins, right? For all the successes. But what, we think we're going to suffer this much?
Yeah.
How big your struggle bucket needs to be bigger than the success bucket to get any success.
You got to be willing to make another bucket and build a bigger bucket and build a bigger bucket.
and it's always attached more to struggle. But when you look at the journey from a bird's eye view, right? And not in the weeds, not in the day, every day, right? There's more successes and more wins. It's just when you're going through it, you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like my first quarter, when I looked back at it, I mean, I had about 5 weeks that were just gut wrenching. But when the quarter ended, I surpassed my goals.
Yeah.
But I was so in it. And
don't you remember the gut wrenching part more?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the process.
Yeah.
And it's so hard when you're in it.
Yeah.
To appreciate
it. Yeah, no, but
it's always like, it doesn't matter how many successful people at TED Talk, it was,
I was so mad I couldn't go.
I was at TED Talk this week and Romeo Brito was telling the story of his life. And it's so amazing how much gratitude and love and how much love he puts into his art. And when he told his story of how he grew up and his humble beginnings, he shared just like this love for the journey he went on. And it's like, this is a super successful person, super successful person worldwide, like known across the world. And he's here sharing like, no, I mean, like you have to go through these things sometimes to truly appreciate getting the success.
Yep.
Like it, and you remember those parts.
And it makes it sweeter.
It's like even Olympians, like they go through depression after after they win, because it's like the competing part, the struggle part, the fighting to get there is really the memory part. That's where your memory like happens. Right. So it's like, it's hard when you're in it to accept it and appreciate it.
And the thing is that when you're going through it, you're growing through it as well. So it's like, even myself, I had that quarter, it was gut wrenching, but then when I stepped back and I looked at it and I analyzed it for the quarter, which is why it's also important to do that with yourself, right? You can't, what is that saying? You don't know what you don't track, right? So it's like, if I didn't have those statistics, then I would have just felt gut wrenched for how long? So I was able to sit back and say, oh, but wait a minute, you made it. You beat your goals by 23%. And you did this, and you spoke twice, which were, goals that I had for myself. And you did that. Like, wait a minute. Like, it was actually a really positive quarter. It just didn't feel like it. Yeah. Through the day to day.
When you're really tired, it's hard to appreciate it. When you're only sleeping 5-6 hours, it's hard to appreciate it. Right. Like when you like, oh, I have to get up again at like 8 a.m. and my God, it's 2 a.m. I haven't even closed my eyes yet. You have those moments and you're just like, yeah, I would love to sleep in tomorrow. I would, but I'm not like, no,
you can't.
I have other things I need to do and I want to do them. Right. And it's not even I need to do them. I wanted to do it. I scheduled that in a moment when I knew I wanted to get that done. I wanted to do that. So it's like keeping that promise to yourself.
I have to work on that. I'm not that great at.
I'm not an expert.
No, well, listen, you sound like one. You're giving me all of the tips because I was actually talking about that last night. I was like, I feel like I'm really bad with my calendar. Like, I put it on there, but I don't keep the promises to myself. I have to do better with that.
If it's on my calendar, it's probably the best thing.
I need to do better.
If it's on my calendar, I'm probably gonna do it. Okay. It's very
you don't negotiate with yourself.
No, but I should probably put working out on the calendar because that's the only thing I do negotiate right now.
Same. Yep. I'm supposed to work.
Perfect.
No, I'm supposed to work out 4 times a week. So this week I've done 3. I got 1 more, but I'm like forced. I'm being intentional again, and I am actually a person that I live very whimsically, which is not ideal for owning a business. So I am trying to be more intentional with my decisions, my time, which is tied back to the networking. I scaled back on my networking when I finally realized, well, wait a minute, this is what I need. This is who I need to meet. These are the people I need to be around. Yeah. You know, and that takes intentionality in realizing that. And you also have to know your business. Who is the one who would be a good person in your network? All those decisions come with experience of doing this. Yeah. Right.
And you said so many good things. I mean, one is the whimsical part. Honestly, I need it too. I do so much face-to-face time and so much work time that I don't schedule it per se, but I block. Like, I'm like, oh, there's an open gap there. I can't schedule anything for that time. Like, I know I need that time to be whimsical myself. I need to not have something planned to decide if I want to do something or do nothing. Right. You know? Right. Like, I need that time.
Yeah, it's your you time.
It's my me time. Yeah. Like, it's necessary. And that time is great. Yeah. Like, I need that time for creativity to come in, for new ideas to come in. Because when I'm in the go, and meeting after meeting after meeting, I'm not thinking creatively. I'm not coming up with new ideas. I'm listening to other people and maybe I get ideas from them, but it's not my own ideas.
You know, I recently went to a conference in Phoenix, and the woman that spoke first, she spoke about, you know, all of this Zoom, just about ethics of being in this virtual world and how to communicate as if you were in person and make those things like more real. And one of the things was that, like, just about like scheduling your Zooms and your virtual meetings back to back to back. And it's like, you need to give yourself time to decompress in between each one, because the next meeting is not the prior meeting. It's a whole new set of people. It's a whole first impression you're going to make. Those people are going to have a different perception of you if you come into that meeting drained. And I found that very valuable, even for myself. I thought, man, I don't really give that to myself. Yeah. You know, just that time in between. Give yourself 10 minutes in between to show up as your best self for the next one. Yeah. And I feel like virtually it's like maybe we don't think it's as important to do. Like, I'm not going to walk into a next meeting now and just be like, oh, God, I was just on a podcast. I'm so tired. You know, like, I'm not going to walk into it physically that way. Yeah. So why would you do it virtually?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I feel like in my day-to-day, my car is that time. Right. I don't answer a phone call because I need a minute between the next phone call. And I'm going to call you right back or something like that. But yeah, I think that's super important. I think it's important to like leave the energy in one place and start anew. Right. And also just to show up with the fresh, like, thoughts, you know, like to show up with a clean slate, because it can be completely different meetings. Right. And the same thing goes for like networking sometimes. When you're trying to be like, this is going back to like how networking I think is really important. There's Dr. Julie Radlauer Dofler. I interviewed her and Romy on the Daily Drip, and we did it on intentional connecting. Because I do a lot of networking, like we've, talked about, and I'm part of a couple different, organizations and groups. And, even when you do a lot of networking, it's important that if you don't get time with someone at the event, or if it's like a very standing event and you're just having short conversations, like schedule time with someone that you connected with. Right. And try to connect with things outside of work. Right. Because at the end of the day, the people that you end up doing business with are people that you become friends with. It's not necessarily the person you don't know anything about, but, oh, you do this service. Like, like that service, that product, like things like that. Like, yeah, those things happen. But you need to, like, when you make the connection, it's such a stronger thing, and it's also very good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Julie made her whole study and talks are all about mental health and how 80% of us that have mental health issues, we actually just need more connections. And the connecting with people could actually help us heal some of our mental health, because a lot of it comes from this isolation culture that has happened.
Right.
It was happening before COVID.
Right, it got worse.
It's just, and it's going to keep happening as technology improves, and it's at the pace that it's going, it's just going to keep happening. So it's just important for us to actually connect with people. And this is kind of like why I'm so passionate about doing my golf events. And
we're going
like
there.
I know.
Yeah, we're going there. No, I love that.
It's a passion of mine.
Yeah,
it
so
really is.
Let's talk about it. Golf. So you are the president of the Miami chapter of Legs. Tell us about what it stands for. Why are you passionate about golf? I need to learn how to play golf. So let's get into that.
I'll start from the beginning of my golf journey.
Yeah.
So I got into golf when I was in high school, finished playing volleyball. So I made the decision I wasn't going to play college volleyball. I was like, all right, I played intense volleyball all growing up. I'm done. And I go work at Doral Golf Resort. And this was back when it was Marriott. And I worked in a couple different departments. And when I'm working at the coffee shop, I meet these ladies that were doing extremely well. They always showed up to grab a coffee, and they had like all this cash on them. And I was like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? And what am I doing wrong?
Right. What am I not doing?
So I just became friends with them, and we would always like message each other, and I'd hook them up with coffees in here and stuff like that. And then I told them, I was like, whenever there's a position and whatever you guys are doing, let me know. Golf was not something I was familiar with. I mean, I was working at the property, so I was seeing the golf course every day and hearing about golf and learning about golf that way. But I didn't grow up playing golf. Right. My family, no one played golf. So there was a position came available, and I got it right away.
Nice. Nice.
I jumped on that immediately, and it was the best job ever. Honestly, I had so much fun doing that job. And for employees at that time, if you worked in the golf department, you got to golf for free. So here I am, a beverage cart girl, making some good money on the golf course, selling booze, cigars, sandwiches, drinks, just keeping people hydrated and happy on the golf course. And I was making a good living. I got to be outside all day, which I love. I love to feel the sun. I love to be outside. It's not as much fun when it's raining and thundering and stuff, but it's really nice when it's beautiful and sunny, and and people are nice. Right.
Oh, they're in a great mood.
Usually.
Yeah.
I mean,
for the most part.
Of course, I've had not great experiences.
Sure.
But anyways, so I'm here. I'm a beverage cart girl, and I have this free perk to golf for free, but I don't know how to golf. So how am I going to figure this out? So I start seeing a lot of regulars come and golf, and the ones that are regulars and really nice, I started becoming friends with them, and I would ask them if they wanted to play for free. And they were like, what's the catch? And I was like, well, you got to teach me. So I don't know anything, and you're going to literally have to teach me, but I'm going to get you on the course for free. And that's how I learned how to play golf. But I learned how to play golf with men, like thankfully really nice men, with men. And yeah, that was my journey. And for the first 10 years of my journey, I basically only played golf with men. I never found women to play golf with. Never. And it's so frustrating because at the end of the day, like, I'm really grateful for the nice guys who I play golf with, and for them being so like cool and, just decent people. Right. But it's not the same as like going out with girls. Yeah.
Hanging out with the girls.
In the same way for guys. Like when guys go and they play with the guys, it's
different. I'm sure they enjoyed playing with you too, but it's like, it's not the guys.
It's not the guys. It's just, there's just a different thing to it.
For sure.
So I've always wanted to find more ladies, and I got really lucky. I went to this one networking event, and I met Marissa Masana, who was a PGA player. And I was just ecstatic. Like, I was like, wait, I found a female that golfs. Like, I was like losing my mind. Like fangirling. I was like, oh, I really want to play with you. Like, please. Like, I know you're probably really good, but like, can we please go play? And she was like, well, I'm actually going to go to play in Boca for this Boca Legs event. And I was like, what? I was like, this sounds amazing. Like, please send me the link. I registered immediately. I drove all the way to Boca. I live in Brickell. So I drove all the way to Boca to play with girls. Like, that's how serious I was. And I had an amazing time. I met Sarah Brogley. She was the president of the Boca chapter. And I just loved the entire experience. There was girls of all different skill level there. And we got to get on the course, and, you know, they got to experience it and got to help out some ladies, got to teach them like things that I knew that they didn't know. And we just had a great time. And, you know, it was a scramble play. It was, you know, sunset round of golf. Like, there's not a prettier time to play than sunset rounds. And the weather's great. Everything was awesome. And then we got together and we networked in a very chill environment. And it was awesome. I was in love with it. I was like, please, like, how can I bring this to Miami? Right. Like, who's starting a Miami chapter? And they connected me with the founder, Jillian Foss. And Jillian and I hit it off. And I seriously love working with her. She's amazing. And she had gone to a networking golf structured event as well. And she kind of took that and she's like, I want to do this for women. So Legs is all about, it's Ladies Executive Golf Society, and it's all about creating a welcoming environment for women of all skill levels to come into golf or to find other ladies to golf with and support you in business and personally on and off the course. So that's our whole purpose. And, amazing. And I really love it. It just gives you such a great opportunity to actually connect. There's something that I always say, and I kind of touched on it earlier, is like, try to have a conversation when you network that's not about business. And that happens naturally on the golf course. Right. It happens completely naturally.
It's funny because the first event that I went to, you had said that too, about like all the guys are crushing all the deals on the golf course, right? And they don't even talk about business. They just like to golf with someone, so you get their business. And that's all business that we're missing out on. So even with the training of being in Legs, it still equips us to actually go play with the guys that are doing the deals too.
Of course.
Like, it's like twofold.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is going to give you what I love to focus on, at least in Miami, and I think all the chapters do a really good job at this, is just teaching you the basics of golf. And we provide lessons or time on the course, but just teaching you like etiquette, teaching you pace of play, teaching you how to be on the course. The real truth is most of these guys aren't that great. Yeah. You know, there's some really good players out there. I'm not kidding. Like, there's some really great golfers, and it's an amazing hobby to have. But when you go to these golf tournaments, I was just at one Tuesday. You don't need to know how to play a golf tournament. Okay.
Shots fired.
You do not need to know how to play. Yeah. Like, you just need to breathe. Right.
You need a pulse and the right shoes and you're in.
Yeah. Like, just dress the part and show up and have a good time. Like, that's really all you need. Golf tournaments or scrambles, which means it's team play. So we're literally sharing the best ball. So everyone gets a shot to hit, but if that was a bad shot, we're going to take whoever did a good shot and we're just going to get to the hole.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. You literally
no
just
skill
like,
level.
no, you really don't. Like, you really don't. So, and that's actually something that I'm so passionate about, because I've been to multiple golf tournaments, and as a beverage cart girl, I worked multiple golf tournaments, and there's never enough ladies out there. I mean, I've never been able to count more than 10 ladies at a golf tournament, and I want to see that change. Yeah. I want to see that change. Like, I met so many CEOs at this golf tournament just this last day, and celebrities and all these kinds of important people that are amazing opportunities for women. There's no reason why you can't show up for these events. There's no reason why you can't register for these golf tournaments. Like, and talk about golf. Like, even if you're not great at it, talk about it, because it might put you in a conversation. It might put you in a room that you weren't in before. I got invited to play golf this afternoon. I probably would not have been invited to this. It's with 3 men. I would not have been invited to this if they didn't know that I talked about golf all the time, that I did golf events, that I do all these things. Like, I'm not that great. I'm not a pro player. Like, I'm not. I probably shoot 110 on the course. Like, that is not pro status.
I wouldn't know.
That is bogey, par, you know, like I just have a good time out there, but I know how to play, and I know how to fill someone's divot. I know golf etiquette. I know how to keep pace of play. Like, I know how to have a good time. I know how to not throw a tantrum. Like, these are just the basic things you need to, like, have a good time on the course. And it's 4 hours that you get to spend with someone if you're playing 18 holes, and you talk about so much. You really do. And you get to know these people. Like, this gets personal. It gets fun.
And it always ends up in the same thing. Everything in business is about relationships. So if they do what their favorite hobbies with you, they're going to do business with you.
I guarantee you there are people that you haven't been able to get a meeting with.
Right.
But if you invited them to golf,
yes,
they would make time.
Right.
Because they're already trying to make time for golf.
Right. That's all they want to do.
They're already trying to make time for golf.
Yep.
So if you could join them on the golf course, there you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't need to talk about it right away. They just want someone to golf with. It's the companionship. It's the connection of golfing and not golfing alone.
Right.
Golf is more enjoyed when you play with other people. So golf with people.
That's awesome.
Like just go out there and golf. And I promise you, if you connect genuinely with this person, something's going to come with it. Like and it might not be immediate, but that's the same as for networking. That's
all
networking. For networking.
Right.
It's a relationship. We met. We still haven't done a deal together.
No. Yeah.
But how many, we've connected people. Right. We know similar people.
We go to the same events.
We go to a lot of similar events.
And I like you as a person.
And I like you as a person. Yeah. So even the more people
Right.
I meet, you're
right.
in my network
Right.
now. You're in my network. You're someone that I trust as a connection.
Mm-hmm.
You're someone that I would definitely refer someone. I would connect because I feel comfortable with you. I know you on different levels now, I know more about you. And that's important when you make a connection.
It's so important. And I also think it's important because, for example, the way we connected was Romy. And I've known Romy for pre-COVID.
Master connector.
Yeah, she is. She was like my 5th or 6th guest on the podcast. She's amazing. And so it's like, we both trust and love her. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't we get along?
Exactly.
That's the power of the relationship aspect of networking. It's like, I trust Romy. Everyone that Romy introduces me to, I know is a good introduction.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah. Because she wouldn't
she knows
have them in her phone if she didn't like them.
And she also knows what I'm looking for. Right. So it's like, she's an intentional connector. Mm-hmm. She knows what I'm looking for. She knows what will help me grow my business just like I know hers. Yeah. So she doesn't just refer like spam.
No.
She's making real connections that she knows will benefit from each other, which is powerful.
She connected me to a woman who works in office furniture sales. And via email, we realized that we both like golf, and we took our meeting to the golf course, and it was the best meeting.
There you go.
It was like
you've convinced me.
Another female who golfs, and we could, instead of doing a 2-hour coffee meeting or lunch, we could just do golf. Mm-hmm. It was the best.
Amazing.
It was the best, and I feel like we genuinely had conversations that we wouldn't have discussed otherwise.
Right. Well, definitely. Coffee would have been in and out too, right? Yeah. Usually, you're almost, and there's only so much coffee you can have. It's definitely different.
It is. And when you're in a coffee shop, you're more likely to be interrupted by your phone. Yep. On the golf course, I'm golfing.
It's 100% attention.
I'm golfing. Yep. And not just that, is you learn a lot about a person when you see them golf. You learn, how they react to things and how they handle themselves.
Right.
Those things are interesting.
Good. That's actually really good.
Those things are interesting.
I have to ask you my final question, and this is a curveball, but I'm so upset that I did not go to Maestro Cares. How is Mark Anthony in person? I love him so much.
He was really nice.
I love him so much.
It's funny because I actually met him when I was a beverage cart garage forever ago on the white course. It doesn't even exist anymore. Now it's apartments.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I met him a long time ago. He looks exactly the same.
Yes, the same. I love him.
But he's actually very nice.
He's my fave.
He took a selfie with me.
I saw it.
He took time. He was I was on hole number 2, which was a hole-in-one challenge. If you got the hole-in-one, you got the Cadillac.
Okay.
Which was a cool activation to do at a golf tournament. So I'm standing at the tee box. I'm seeing everyone as they show up. They're hitting their shots. So I'm there chatting with everyone. And, he was super normal. I have to give him a lot of credit for that. He was super normal. But all the celebrities that were there, that Luis Fonsi, Carlos Ponce was so nice. These are genuinely really nice people. Yeah. And I met the owners, the Flanagan family, Celsius, nice. A lot of
That's
big
awesome.
name brands and just genuine people. I think sometimes when we're in a business setting, we put all this pressure on the CEO or, oh my God, you own this big business, but they're just people.
Right.
they're just people, you know, and
that's also something that comes with the experience of networking, because at the beginning you feel like you have to be someone you're not to be impressed. No, people only want to do business with people that are real.
yeah. And especially a celebrity.
Oh yeah.
If you get all starstruck and weird, like, you know, it makes them a little uncomfortable. They just want to
they just want to be treated like a normal person.
Talk to me like a normal person, you know?
Oh,
Like,
next year I am there. If you guys do it again.
Yeah. Nelly did a great job working with Maestro Cares to make this a great tournament. And Maestro Cares is an amazing
great organization. Yes.
I mean, it's my first time doing anything with them, and this was their second golf tournament.
Nice.
And they do tournaments in other locations as well. So
nice.
I'm excited to connect with them a lot more and be involved for the future because, I mean, I know Mark Anthony's highly involved, but he brings really big people into it to help it.
And he's super passionate. I'm telling you, I'm a big fan. So I know that's been his organization, for a long time.
Yeah. No, he puts a lot of, they put a lot of work
awesome.
and effort.
Love that.
And people flew from all over.
Yeah.
I mean, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Chicago, New York, California, all over, just to come out to this tournament and support him. So that's pretty amazing. Shows he has good connections.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I wouldn't expect any
and relationships because you know
even at that level it matters.
Even as a celebrity, it matters. You know, like do you even have relationships with other celebrities,
right,
or not? You know, like those things matter. That's your network. So
I appreciate your time so much. I enjoyed this conversation. I feel like it was, we're two people that are building our businesses, and it's nice and it's refreshing to be able to have an honest conversation about the process and all of that fun stuff. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
for making it here. Tell the people, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Hernandez Sells Miami. And then if you're looking for legs, at Legs Golf Miami, Florida.
Perfect. And we'll put it all in the show notes anyway. So
awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and your friendship. And I'm going to learn how to golf. You convinced me.
Yes. I mean, you've already come to one event.
I got to go. Yeah. I saw it's March 24th, right?
May 24th, we have a scramble.
It's May.
May 24th, we're doing our first scramble event in Miami. And it's all about just getting the ladies on the course. So rather you have experience or no experience, come join us because we're going to have instructors and experienced golfers to help you learn pace of play and just help you realize, just learn how to golf on the course.
Awesome.
Because the lessons are great. The range is amazing for practice, but you also practice on the course. And it's really important you learn it while doing.
Yeah.
Golf is one of those things I could put as many posts and content out there about rules and etiquette and everything you learn while doing it. So just come out and join us so that the next time that tournament shows up, you say, I know how to do a scramble.
I could do that.
I could do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.